It helps swimmers a lot because it is constantly evolving. So what my swimmers who are in their 80s learned 40 years ago is completely different. So having the resources that reinforce what a coach on deck is telling them helps dramatically. What I always learned from my business background is to have a healthy discontent for the status quo. Meaning just because we did it this way yesterday doesn't mean we're going to do it tomorrow. And how do we know how it changes is to utilize resources such as RITTER to help us continually educate ourselves.
I think it's really important for swimmers to swim the proper way and be efficient in their strokes. There's no point in wasting time in the water and using up all your energy. So I really enjoy having RITTER be available to me. I feel really good about my swim coaching in the water, but I feel like RITTER has this holistic approach where we've got recovery advisory, we've got strength training, which really helps. I mean, my swimmers need to be flexible but also have strength in the right places, especially as they age. And then finally, the technique is incredibly important. If they're just not pulling water, they're not going anywhere. And there are so many different aspects of technique provided with RITTER that I'm just really grateful that it's available for me to use and also to pass on to my swimmers.
The strength training has helped my swimming, where I started actually training for swimming. I used to play baseball in college, and so I was familiar with the weight room and some flexibility stuff, but I had no idea how different the swimming training could be. And full disclosure, when I first started working with Bo, the first 2 weeks, I was like, are you kidding me with some of this stuff? It was totally different than anything I've seen before. I'm like, is this going to help me? But I saw pretty quickly, just in terms of the functional strength that it could provide, and started seeing the benefits really quickly in the water. I know I'm not going to be able to do it by myself. I just started swimming a little over 2 years ago, and so in order to have the type of goals, in order to achieve the type of goals that I'm trying to get to, I know it's going to be a team effort. But I knew I'm going to have to incorporate some dry land training, some strength training, certainly some technique training into my program if I'm going to be able to achieve the goals I want to. And I know the RITTER family is able to put all that package in one stop. And so I'm excited about the possibilities. I would tell them to join RITTER for the same reasons I did. You can get the full package of what you're ultimately looking for, from strength training, coaching, flexibility, technique, all in one stop. And you can go to a lot of places and get one coaches here, off, and there, but between the great staff they have and then the social media presence, which you can always scroll to and read a quick article when you have some time on the go, it's a great program, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
I was using another platform, and I needed to find something that was more suited to my style of swimming, sprinting, and it allowed me to ramp up as I came closer to competition time, from a standard membership to a individual membership, and that was something RITTER offered. And you guys are known through the community of swimming, so it was an easy connection for me to reach out to you. The individualization allowed me to focus on the levers, really the hip and below is where I struggle the most. So the range of motion and flexibility, and then generating the power with all the levers working together is something that if you don't use it, you will lose it. And so that aspect has been very, very beneficial, and it shows on my starts and my turns. In college, you're really on the receiving end of a training plan that you don't have input to necessarily directly, and it was meant for a group. In the 80s, the metric for measuring performance was, at least in training, was yardage. And nowadays we're smarter, and that allows us to be a lot more, have a lot more fidelity with our training programs, and really hone in on individualization of the body makeup, what you have for time to allow for training. And so we're much, much smarter about how we craft a training program directly for an individual based on what they need and what their goals are. So my work life has me traveling about half the month, and I wind up in a lot of metropolitan areas where I try to find a master's program that has a practice that fits. But when I'm unable and when I need to continue my strength training, I've got the app on my phone, or And I'm able to either use the hotel fitness center or even do it in my own hotel room. And that allows me to continue to at least maintain, if not improve, as time marches through the month. So the biggest benefit that I would say I get from the RITTER program is athleticism. And athleticism transfers into swimming if that's what you're doing. For me, I'm not able to swim as often as I like, not necessarily because of my work-life balance, but because I choose to do other things as well. So I mountain bike, I road bike, I run, I do triathlons, I swim.
I've been really impressed with the different resources as a coach that I've been able to get from RITTER Sports Performance. Both from the technique side and learning a number of different philosophies and new developments in stroke mechanics, as well as translating what happens in the pool with what happens out of the pool with some of the dry land things and some of the flexibility work that you all have done. And it really gives me a whole resource as a coach to be able to provide new ideas for my swimmers and new ideas to integrate into my own coaching. So I've been a technique coach for a number of years, and seeing the new takes on technique that RITTER provides from their videos and some of the discussions in their podcasts have been very instrumental in being able to look at my swimmer strokes in a new light and being able to provide them with some more individualized feedback in terms of, being able to make some improvements and help them to swim faster when it counts. I would say that RITTER is a one-stop shop as a resource for coaches that brings a number of different facets of the sport together that allows you to both be a better coach and share resources with your swimmers that can also allow them to improve and to make some gains.
So being able to go to a one-stop shop like RITTER is good because you can sit there, you can see the drills, you can see the workout sets that work for different athletes, and you can try to help tailor your programs for your athletes to help them get maximum performance. If you haven't heard about RITTER, essentially it's like LinkedIn for coaches. This is a place where you can go and you can see what your competition has got, you can see what your fellow coaches are doing, and it's a good way to pretty much toss ideas against the board and see what works to try to help every athlete that comes into your pool.